Live in Wilbraham with what school leaders are telling parents. Glenn?
Yeah, Chris, Abby, the first email that was obtained by Western Mass News came in on the week of August 8th. That's when the Hampden-Wilbraham Regional School District emailed parents telling them that they found mold in Wilbraham Middle School and took immediate action.
An email sent to Wilbraham Middle School parents this week reads, "School will now start next week due to mold cleanup in over 20 spaces in the building. This after crews were forced to remove or throw out 300 bins, boxes, and bags of items from classrooms." The August 27th email obtained by Western Mass News reads in part, quote, "Our staff is now beginning the process of recovering items from the warehouse. When we met today, they shared that their greatest need was additional time to gather their belongings, recreate learning materials that had been destroyed, and set up classrooms that are inviting to students. I believe that it is a reasonable request that is in the best interest of all concerned. Therefore, the first day of school for Wilbraham Middle School will be moved to September 3rd. Meanwhile, all other Hampden-Wilbraham regional schools will kick off the year on Thursday, August 29th, as scheduled. According to past emails to parents, the mold was found during the week of August 8th when staff were performing maintenance on the school's Wi-Fi system. A mold growth was discovered in room 7 and was quickly found to be in 5 classrooms. The August 8th email reading, quote, "The probable cause has been identified as condensation occurring between air-conditioned and non-air-conditioned spaces during recent humid days. Since then, the school district has sent regular updates to parents about the cleanup and air quality tests performed by 24 Restore, a company out of Westfield that's handling the mold remediation. On Tuesday, WMS received the all-clear to reoccupy the building in its entirety. But out of an abundance of caution and to give some teachers time to set up rooms, the decision was made to push back the first day. The superintendent telling families in part, quote, "I understand that there will be some disappointment with this decision. However, I feel that pushing for an on-time start would also result in disappointment rather than the quality learning experiences we seek to provide."
Now, Superintendent Provost also informed parents that those 2 missed days will be made up at the end of the year. Now, we just spoke to Superintendent Provost just moments ago. We'll have his insight on the cleanup efforts and ways that people can help those teachers that had to remove items from their rooms coming up later tonight at 5. Reporting live in Wilbraham, Glenn Kittle for Western Mass News.